Hello, Dana Guitar Class. I hope you had a great holiday weekend and that you were able to set aside a little bit of time to practice your guitar during your days off. Today's lesson is to reference a topic that I mentioned at the end of the last video that I made, and that was about learning how to read the notes below the staff. Sight reading is something that I think challenges every guitar player. Guitars are unique compared to other instruments. Any horn can only play one note at a time. A piano can play multiple notes at a time, but it's almost as if the staff was designed to work perfectly with a piano. There are basically one note for each note on the scale, where the guitar is a little bit different. It can play multiple notes at one time, but it can reproduce the same note in multiple places on the staff. For example, the open E string produces the E that you know in the top space of the treble clef, but the 5th fret of the B string makes the exact same note. To carry it on even further, on the 9th fret of the G string, you can play the same pitch yet again. And to keep on going, on the 4th fret of the D string, you can play the same note. And finally, all the way up here on the, 19th fret of the A string, you can play the same pitch. They're all the same. They have a slightly different tonal quality or timbre, which timbre is a way of describing the qualities of a pitch or the sound, you know, so this E versus this E versus this E versus this E versus this E. As you move toward the open E string, the note opens up, or it has a brighter top end. This open string in particular almost sounds like the word E, where this is almost like someone saying the word E while they were yawning, you know, right? Probably kind of comical sounding. Anyway, so you've got an E and an E and an E and an E and an E, and they're all the exact same place on the staff. Good Lord, that is so confusing when you're being told that you need to sight read a piece of music. How do you know which one to choose? Well, unfortunately, it requires experience to make a good choice. And if you are a beginning guitar player, you very likely don't have that experience and you need to rely on a teacher or an instructor to give you some idea about it. Most method books and most guitar lesson systems start out with sight reading in just the first position or the open position on the guitar. And it almost seems like it's an unfair amount of confusing information to reveal early on that this E is also the same as this E is also the same as this E and this E and this E. So herein lies the problem. As we move down the staff and we encounter the E that is the bottom line on the treble clef, which produces the E at the 2nd fret of the D string, well, that's also the 7th fret of the A string, and it's also the 12th fret of the low E string. So all three are the same pitch, slightly different timbre. This is sort of like an E that is yawning, and this is like an E that's a little more open sounding. Furthermore, the lowest note on the guitar in standard tuning is an E, and it's an E that is the space below the 3rd ledger line below the staff. So here's the deal. When it comes to sight reading, and in particular reading those notes that are above or below the staff, I think that's probably the most challenging thing that guitar players face when they're in a class or a lesson structure where they have to read below the staff. The presentation of the notes in a classroom setting are, I don't know if you want to call it like the most proper way, but it's completely traditionalized. However, in the field, if you have to play something as a professional, sometimes the entire part will be written within the staff, and then it'll just have an instruction to play 1 octave below. And it makes it a lot easier, so that if you see the E that is the lowest note is the E on the bottom of the regular standard 5-line staff, it just becomes a lot easier to read those lines when you don't have to sort of be visualizing just how many ledger lines there are below the staff for each note that you're playing. But today, what I want to focus on is a new way of thinking about it, a new way of addressing the guitar. You've been playing for almost 6 months now, or whatever, for half the school year. The semester just rolled over. You were introduced with the high E string as the first one, E, F, and G, and you probably remember those notes more than any that you've learned. You've been exposed to them for a longer period of time. They were the first notes that you learned in that particular system of sight reading, and it's just going to stick with you. And I notice every year as I teach this class, the lower we go on the staff until we plunge below, the E on the D string, it gets more and more challenging unless you really stay on top of your reading practice. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about 3 notes only, but instead of them being something like E, F, and G, they're going to be a little bit spread out, but they are going to have something in common. They're all going to be below the staff, or their lowest octave available on the guitar will be below the staff. They're all going to be spaces below the staff, so they won't be on the line. They'll be below a line on the staff or in a space. So those 3 notes are going to be E, G, and B. Now I understand that a B isn't necessarily played on the E string by default, but it can be. It's the 7th fret of the E string produces a B note that's equivalent to the 2nd fret of the A string, which is a B note. But I just want to talk about those 3 notes. We're not only going to play those 3 pitches, but we're going to play those 3 pitches everywhere they can occur on the guitar, from the 12th fret on your classical guitars, it'll be at the neck joint, but from the 12th fret down to the open position. So for example, the E is available on the open E string, then the first octave would be the 12th fret of the low E string, then the 7th fret of the A string, then the 2nd fret of the D string, then the 9th fret of the G string, the 5th fret of the B string, and the open E string, and finally the 12th fret of the high E string. And we're going to play those over and over again, just like this weird stretched out pattern of nothing but E's. So it would be E, 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 E. Okay? Now that was probably a little bit fast for you getting started, but we'll go very slowly and carefully, and I'll call out the fret numbers while we do it. I would like you to join me. All of these are going to be the low E. This is 3 ledger lines below the staff. Looks like the letter E, and it would be down here below it. I'm going to try and put a graphic on the screen. I have really told myself over and over again that I wasn't going to do that. I don't know if I'll take a picture of a note on a piece of paper or what, but I'm going to try and produce an E that you can see on the screen, either up here or over here somewhere. I don't know. I know that graphics would help, but graphics increase the difficulty and time it takes to produce these videos. Mostly, I would like you to pick up your guitar and listen and participate with me. I'll try to be as clear and descriptive as possible. But the E is the 0, 12, 7, 2, 9, 5, 0, 12. It might be a good time to pause the video and get a piece of paper and just write those notes down or numbers down or something. They're all E's. So it would be 0, 12, 7, 2, 9, 5, 0, 12. And then to do it in reverse, 12, 0, 5, 9, 2, 7, 12, 0. I'm going to go really slowly in the beginning, and hopefully you'll be able to follow along. I really encourage you to do this with me. Pick up your guitar, put it in your lap. I don't care if you use a pick or your fingers. I want you to play every E on the neck with me. Try to be in sync with me. Most importantly, in the beginning, just go for where you think that number is. If it's 0, 12, 12, 7, 2, 9, 5, 0, 12. Just try and aim for that approximate area. The more you do it, the more accurate you will get. It's hard to describe to a young person who's been in school with exact instructions on how you are to do everything. Every math problem needs to come up with not the approximate answer, but the exact answer, or it doesn't count. If you have to spell a word in a class, you need to spell it absolutely correctly. You cannot sort of spell it correctly. Well, music is different. It's just different. It subscribes to different rules. It's one of the hardest things to break free of mentally when you're learning it, that it has to be perfect all the time. That's a huge handicap. I want you to just go for close. Try and keep up. Go for close. The note will sound wrong when it's wrong, but when it's right, it'll sound right. And you're going to get that positive reinforcement. It's going to hit you right in the endorphins. And you're going to know, hey, I did it right. That note was correct. Thank goodness. Oh no, I just made a mistake. But the more you do it, your body's going to figure it out. These need to become reactions, not like cause and effect. You just need to see it and know what to do. It needs to become like a different kind of coordination. It can't go through multiple stages in your brain. If you see those three ledger lines on the staff and the note below it, you can't think to yourself, well, that looks kind of like the letter E. Now, what was it that Billy said? Oh, yeah, that's an E. And that's the name of the string, the low string. I'll hit it, E. But I mean, it's 4 measures down the song by this point, and you have to play another note. So we're going to do the E. I know I've been rattling on for a while now. I just love the sound of my own voice. So here we go. We're going to go 0, 12, 7, 2, 9, 5, 0, 12. I'll play the 12 again. 12, 0, 5, 9, 2, 7, 12, 0. I'll go very slowly. It'll be like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 12, 7, 2, 9, 5, 0, 12. 12, 0, 5, 9, 2, 7, 12, 0. Again, 0, 12, 7, 2, 9, 5, 0, 12. 12, 0, 5, 7, 2, 7. Whoops, I said 1, 12. 0, 0, 12, 7, 2, 9, 5, 0, 12. 12, 0, 5, 9, 2, 7, 12, 0. 0, 12, 7, 2, 9, 5, 0, 12. Okay. I think you should go back in the video and start that one all over again and do it a few times. That is absolutely the way to just start making it a memory. Put it in your body. Keep on going. Keep on practicing that one over and over and over again. When you're ready to move on to the next note we're going to do will be G. And G is located 2 ledger lines below the staff, right here. Okay, so it is in a space. It is not on a line. It's in a space that will be below the second ledger line below the staff. Can you visualize that? I hope you can, but if you can't, I'm going to try to put a graphic up here. Oh gosh, I said I would never do it. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, well, anyway, we're going to do G. We're going to do it in a similar way. I probably won't go as fast as I did on E because frankly, I don't do G as often as I do E. So here we go. G is going to be 3, 10, 5, 0, 12, 8, 3, 3, 8, 12, 0, 5, 10, 3. Here we go. The same kind of slow count. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 10, 5, 0, 12, 8, 3, 3, 8, 12, 0, 5, 10, 3, 3, 10, 5, 0, 12, 8, 3, 3, 8, 12, 0, 5, 10, 3, 3, 10, 5, 0, 12, 8, 3, 3, 8, 12, 0, 5, 10, 3. All of those are G's. G's are located 2 ledger lines below the staff in the space below that second ledger line. There will not be a third ledger line below it unless it's some kind of chord stack. Don't even want to get into that. But so far, the first one we learned was E. It is the note below the third ledger line. The second one we're doing is G, which is the note below the second ledger line below the staff. And then the next note we're going to do is B. B is located below the first ledger line below the staff. I hope you know what note is on top of the first ledger line below your staff. If you don't, that'll be another video. I'm going to try and do these in a series for a while. It'll be 3 notes at a time. These first 3 are going to be E, G, and B. The next one is likely to be like F and C or F, A, and C or something like that. But anyway, we're going to do the B note now. The B note is the 7th fret of the low E string, the 2nd fret of the A string, the 9th fret of the D string, the 4th fret of the G string, the open B, the 12th fret of the B, and the 7th fret of the B. Of the high E string. My apologies. I'm not going to talk too much today about those notes above the staff. Today it's all about reading those notes below the staff. That's really what I care about. But this new system of memorizing where every note is on the staff, on the guitar neck, which that's really the mission here. Just learn the names of the notes. If you don't even know the names of the notes in the neck, what difference does it make if you can look at staff and say that's an E, or an F, or a B, or a D? If you don't know where it is on the guitar, and I mean everywhere on the guitar, that useful information isn't that useful. So here we are with the letter B. Remember, it's going to be 7, 2, 9, 4, 0, 12, 7. 7, 12, 0, 4, 9, 2, 7. Okay, here it is. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 9, 4, 0, 12, 7. 7, 12, 0, 4, 9, 2, 7. 7, 2, 9, 4, 0, 12, 2, 7. 7, 12, 0, 4, 9, 2, 7. 7, 2, 9, 4, 0, 12, 7. 7, 12, 0, 4, 9, 2, 7. 7, 2, 9, 4, 0, 12, 7. 7, 12, 0, 4, 9, 2, 7. Okay, that one got a little quick. I made a mistake, but what did I do? I corrected it. My brain kind of knew that my brain in my ear immediately knew that they'd made a mistake. Just slid my hand down, kept on going. Didn't let it stop me. This is life. It's what it's like playing music. Sometimes you make a mistake. You got to keep going. You correct however you can. If I hadn't said anything, by the time I was done, you might have forgotten that I'd made a mistake, because people tend to remember the very last thing you did, not the thing you did 15 things ago. And if you continued on after you made a mistake, and as if one hadn't happened, a lot of times people just go, yeah, that's the beauty of wood, or whatever I said in that last video. I think I said I compared it to wood and waves and the sky, They look the same, but they're always different. On any given day, you could take a picture of any of those things, unless it was the same piece of wood over and over again. They would all look a little different, and they all would be beautiful for one reason or another. So go back into this video and replay those exercises again. And I'm going to give you a further challenge. And that is to get yourself a piece of fretboard paper or just draw it. You might be able to find one online somewhere. I would love to do all the work for you, but you have to do some work for yourself if you're going to really enjoy the benefit of the benefit of what it is you're going to accomplish here. But I would like you to make a fingerboard diagram of where each E is, and then each G, and then each B. And I want you to look at it really carefully and compare those three notes on different fingerboards. So you would have one diagram, however it would look, I don't know. I guess it would look kind of like this to you. Something. Oh, good Lord, this is gonna fail. I'm not gonna do it. But if this was a fingerboard diagram and you put a dot there, and a dot there, and a dot there, and a dot there, and there, and there, and there, and there, at the 12th fret, okay? You would see simultaneously where all of the E's on the neck are. Yeah, they would be in 4 different octaves, but I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 different octaves. So then you do the same thing for a G, where you put a dot there, and 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 a dot there. Then you do the same thing for the B, a dot here, 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 and a dot here. And then you start looking at those diagrams, those simultaneous presentations of those individual notes. See if you notice anything. For some of you, it will be an aha moment. It may even change your entire guitar playing life forever. Okay. Have a great week. This is a big video for you if you're just getting started. Watch it over. Watch it a few times. There's a lot of information in this that will mean a lot for the rest of your life.